Hey there everybody. It seems like everybody's back to work today and it feels like a Monday, but it is a Tuesday, and in Sydney there's so much traffic today it seems like everybody's back to work today. So I've seen lots of people goal setting and their New Year's resolutions and all that stuff, and I'm going to show you why this probably isn't your best option. And today I want to talk around habits. So for those who don't know me, I'm Ange Sinclair and I'm the Digestive Detective, and I know you're all keen to get a kickstart with the new year. But what if I told you there was a better way than setting unrealistic goals that you don't achieve and leave you feeling like a failure? And what if I told you creating habits over goals are the way to go? The quality of our life depends in the quality of our habits. So year after year we have the same goals, we get the same results pretty much. You know the drill. Jan 2, you are at the gym, but by the time Jan 30 rolls around, the gym is looking pretty empty. So goals are often about the results we want to achieve, whereas habits and systems are about the processes we set up to lead to these results. For most of us, we get caught up in the goal rather than developing the systems. I know this is true for me. So a change in your habits can guide your life to a pretty different place, really. So one of the things about our habits is they come from our decisions to be better. You know, the thing with bad habits though, they can cut you down as quick as good habits can build you up. Say this year you wanted to eat better. You don't start out by just getting motivated to eat better. You think about the person you will become when you eat better. A healthier version of yourself. You might lose weight, you might get fitter, your blood work might come back into the normal range. You've tried before, so how can this time be different? Well, behind every action we do is a system of beliefs. So what we notice is that to get good habits, they have to become part of our identity. So for some of us to get a true habit change, we have to have an identity change. So for example, if you have always been overweight, you identify yourself with somebody who's always overweight. Until you can change that identity, you will always be overweight. So over the break, I've read this fantastic book from James Clear, and if you want to know about habits, this is the book for you. It's called Atomic Habits, and in his book he talks about changing our habits is like changing an onion. The first layer is to change the outcome. The second layer is to change our process, and the third layer is to change our identity. Our old identity, I can't get that out today, will sabotage us every time. If nothing changes, we fall into that same pattern over and over again. And I'm sure most of you have done this. You've started something, you do it for a bit, then you drop off. So forming habits happens on a feedback loop. And if nothing changes, well, nothing will change. So making habits is a two-part process. Decide on the person you want to be. Prove that you are that person with small wins along the way. I see this often in clinic. People want to improve their gut health, but they don't want to do to change their diet dramatically, or to do the work, or to stop drinking alcohol that they need to do for this to become a habit for them. So we have a choice in every moment to choose that identity that we really want to reinforce. So let's go back to the weight loss example. Cake in the office. So whether you choose to eat the cake and be the person that you've always been, or you don't eat the cake and become that better version of yourself. Habits matter because they help you become the person that you actually want to be. And habits for all of us are best when they become automatic. Like brushing your teeth before you go to bed. Most of us don't even think about that, and that's a really big habit for us. Excuse me. So when the habits become automatic, it frees up our brain space for something else that's important to us. So building a habit happens in 4 steps, and these 4 steps are responsible for every habit. The 4 steps are cue, craving, response, and reward. So cue initiates the behavior. Craving is the motivation behind the behavior. Response, it delivers the reward, and reward then satisfies our craving and reinforces that behavior. So I have put this information to a habit that I have, and I've changed the behavior. So of a night time after dinner, my husband always makes me a cup of tea. Cue that husband, it's always you that's making me a cup of tea. So that's my cue. The craving for me is then to get up and have a piece of chocolate. So that's the craving. The response is when I go to the fridge to get the chocolate, and the reward is me eating the chocolate. So every habit is initiated by the cue. So now rather than have a cup of tea, I go for a walk, because eating chocolate every night is not the identity that I would like to have for myself. And so my husband can still eat chocolate because he loves chocolate. So I choose to do something else. So, and another one would be, if you have supplements you have to take before you go to bed, place the bottle in the bathroom so that when you brush your teeth, you will get the cue to do so. And the last example you could be, if you want to eat more fruit and vegetables, but you're too busy and go and buy them, get them delivered, so that you won't have to, so that you won't run out and have to get them, or you won't run out of time, and you'll get the healthy benefits that you crave from them. To get rid of a bad habit, it's best to cut it off at the source and eliminate all the cues of that behavior. For example, me with the chocolate, it's best to not be around the source of that cue, which is the jug boiling, so it's easier for me not to. So another example of that is I'm a scroller on my phone. So to get work done, I have to put the phone either away in a drawer or in another room because I'm hopeless essentially. So if junk food is your habit, don't buy it. Then you won't see it sitting in your pantry or your fridge. And then if you get to this point where you think, oh yes, I really need that, you have to get in your car. Most people will not get in the car to go and buy their junk food. So how long does it take to form a habit? So doing one habit, so one action, over and over leads to physical changes in our brain. Our brain actually gets bigger. So we need to keep doing these repetitions for these actions to stick. Most of our bad habits are repeated over and over, so we need to put in the reps, for example, like my tea and chocolate, to create a new habit. So most of us start a new habit and don't see immediate results, and then we stop. So habits need to persist for long enough for them to become automatic. So that could be 30 days, it could be 60 days, it could be 120 days. It depends how often you do the action. So keeping our habits on track. So habits need to be enjoyable for most of us to stick to them. Choose a habit that suits you, not other people, because you won't continue the habit. As time goes, habits become boring. And this is when many of us give up. So don't aim for it to be perfect. So have a habit tracker. So a Fitbit, a food diary, Strava, or a calendar where you cross off every time you do the activity. If you want to be successful at a habit, research shows us that we are likely to be more successful if we track the habit. So we are likely to keep more motivated if we see ourselves making progress. So tracking also keeps us focused on the process rather than the results, because the results don't always come straight away. So that's why it's good to track it. So what happens if you lose consistency with your habit? Show up for yourself for that person you want to be. It's not an all or nothing scenario. Sometimes life gets in our way. The thing you have to remember is don't miss twice, because if you miss doing something twice, then it becomes a new habit. And I see this often with people that come into clinic. They go, oh, I forgot to eat my fruit and vegetables today, and then I forgot to do tomorrow, and then I just gave up. Don't do that. Get back on the wagon. Get an accountability partner. Knowing that somebody else is watching you is a huge motivator. We are less likely to let somebody else down. So with goals, there are no control over them. Whereas with habits, we can see we are empowered to make the choice to decide what we do at every moment of every day. We also need to know that mastery of goals takes practice and patience, and we will fail at some habits. We just need to look at our cues, our cravings, our response, and our rewards, and then readjust. So what matters around habits is your continued action to make progress until the habit becomes automatic. So that's the top tip. Just keep doing it until a habit becomes automatic. So if you need to change some habits around your food or from your gut health, get in touch. I offer a free 15-minute call if you need some direction on where to go next. You can go to my website, and so www.digestivedetective.com.au, and book in a free 15-minute, and I can give you some ideas of looking forward and what that looks like. Enjoy your week, everybody, and I will talk to you next week. I'm going to talk about starting from scratch. If you've got gut problems, where you can start and what you can do yourself to help overcome some of these problems. Look forward to having a great week. See you then, folks. Bye.